welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, new customers, when you sign up using promo code DNVR, all you got to do is place a $5 bet on Super Bowl 57. And when you win, you get $200 in free bets thanks to code DNVR and thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. I am Patrick Lyons.
And I'm Suzie Hunter. Patrick, how you doing this Tuesday?
We're doing great. We're doing well. We are? I think so.
I didn't say I was doing great.
No, we're not. I know you had a rough day yesterday.
I had such a rough day. I'm okay. But, I'm just going to complain for the rest of my life.
Suze, if you could choose a Taylor Swift ticket or the Super Bowl, the universe is obviously telling you have to pick one.
Good question.
I had to drop $5,000 on the things that broke in my life yesterday. And I was like, oh, that could have been a Super Bowl ticket. And that'll also be how much I'm spending on Taylor Swift tickets. So
you'll still find a way to make it happen.
I was like, God does not want me to go to the Super Bowl.
We've got a notable Rockies retirement that just came out through the wire on Tuesday morning. More, of course, about the quotes that Rockies owner Dick Monforts made and responses from all around the baseball world about how folks feel about that. And we've got a new cover artist. Or cover model?
A cover model.
Cover model. Cover girl.
A cover girl.
On MLB The Show. So that will be interesting, and we'll kind of maybe pose the question, will the Rockies ever be on the cover of MLB The Show? Zach Veen, maybe?
Zach Veen does have that swag.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
He's the front runner, I think, for sure. Yeah, Dexter Fowler did announce his retirement. Last year did not play in the majors. I think 2021 was his last year. With the Los Angeles Angels, the only Rockies player, to my knowledge, to ever appear on Saturday Night Live. That's it. He was there after the 2016 World Series, kind of singing "Go Cubs Go" with Bill Murray, David Ross, Anthony Rizzo. Mm-hmm. Boom. There's been other Rockies featured, you see their picture, on an old skit from the 90s. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I have a document somewhere kind of cataloging all these people.
Spreadsheet guy.
Spreadsheet vibes. But that's it. Dexter Fowler, the only Rocky to ever appear on Saturday Night Live. And so for that reason, he's legendary.
What was the spreadsheet you were talking about in our meeting that we had before this? You have a list of every transaction ever from the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, that's right.
In a spreadsheet?
That's right, yeah.
We have a new head of production. She's just what?
You never know when you're going to need something.
Know.
And you're you look and you go, okay, this guy never played for the Rockies. This was a minor league deal, international free agent signing. Oh, something about Troy Tulowitzki. Hey, let's hit that up on social media. Boom.
Spreadsheet guy.
There you go.
Aggressive spreadsheet guy.
Very aggressive. I am. No, Fowler was great. Obviously, he was a part of that 2009 club that won the wild card. I mean, you could say that about every Rockies postseason club that won the wild card because they've only won the wild card.
They've only won the wild card.
Yeah, that's true. I talked about that with him a few seasons ago. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially if there's not a ton of Rockies news out there. Is all right. Let me see who's in the opposing team's dugout. Who's on the roster that I could talk to that has Rockies connections. And whenever there's a former Rocky there,
yeah, of course,
you got to prioritize that. And so Fowler was really kind with his time and sharing about that. I think that article's available over at the DNVR.com. But yeah, he had a good career, and it was sad to see him go when he was eventually traded to the Houston Astros.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's going to be a couple marquee names making their regular season Coors Field debut. And I say regular season because the first two names of guys, they played here in 2021 during the All-Star game. So it's not actually their first time at Coors Field.
But in
general.
In an actual game.
In a game that you can afford to pay and get a ticket to and go in.
Also,
All-Star game, true.
Also a game that counts.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, because of the balanced schedule now, every other year, you will see any American League team coming to Coors Field. Obviously, the National League teams already do. That will still happen, but American League teams every other year. So this year, the Yankees come to town July 14th through 16th, and that's their first time since June of 2016.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So Aaron Judge will be making his regular season debut. It's nice that the opposing team takes batting practice first, so there's going to be a lot of people for all three games, although usually there's not batting practice on Sunday. So if you do want to try to catch a home run ball from Aaron Judge or see him shagging fly balls in the outfield, don't go to Sunday. Usually the day game after night game, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
So Friday and Saturday, watching Aaron Judge just taking batting practice at Coors Field.
It's gonna be sick.
You could stand on the concourse and easily get, 5 to 10 baseballs hit to you.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a big weekend because you know what else is happening that weekend.
Someone's going to smash in your side rearview mirror.
Probably.
Sorry, maybe, I don't know. Something as financially as impactful as
Something
an event like that.
as financially impactful.
That's it, but slightly more fun.
Taylor Swift.
Slightly more fun.
Taylor Swift
I'd say
weekend.
that's slightly more fun than having to deal
Definitely more fun and will absolutely be more expensive than what it costs to fix my car.
with that. Bo Bichette, who's also on that 2021 All-Star team. So he's been to Coors Field, but never in the regular season. Toronto was here in 2019. That was a game that I thought, okay, I got to go down and watch batting practice. It was great. And then the next 2 days, I think it rained, so they didn't take batting practice. So that was the one and only time. So there's only also, Vlad Guerrero Jr., that's another one that you want to get there early for. Watch batting practice. That's September 1st through 3rd, late in the season, when the games are must win for the Rockies to stay in the wild card hunt or just to stave off elimination. That will more likely be that. Colorado's going to play in Toronto next year, and it has been a very long time. I'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the only guy who actually wasn't, that's truly never been to Coors Field. And I don't know if he'll actually play there or not because he's a guy who can't necessarily stay healthy. There's a reason the Twins got Michael A. Taylor from the Royals because they wanted to shore up their depth at center field. Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton was All-Star last year, but not in 21.
Never been to Coors Field.
Never been there.
That surprises me so much, but that'll be fun.
That's
for him.
That's the longest drought of any team not having played in Colorado. Minnesota Twins, last time they played here was in July of 2014. Long time.
That is a lifetime ago.
Yeah. The longest streaks of Colorado not playing somewhere. Number one is Toronto. Rockies have not played in Toronto since June of 2013. Over a decade.
Wow.
So they'll play there next year. Get your passports ready now.
Yes.
If you do want to go up to Toronto and check out the new renovations that they've got for the stadium up there.
I want to see the new renovations. I love Toronto, though. Toronto's a good city.
I've been to Montreal, not Toronto. So I would like to go to Toronto. I hear good things.
Yeah.
In the 6, You have some
Yes.
woes. Sometimes there are woes in the 6. But if you can get past them, you'll have a good time in Toronto.
Looking for Drake. Looking for you.
One of my favorite facts, Rockies facts of all time, and hopefully it won't be true much longer. The Rockies have never won a game in Toronto. That is the only city/stadium that they've never won in.
But to be fair,
0-9.
what a small sample size.
9 games, and it's been a while. 0-9. It's just random, right?
It's
That
so
happens that
random.
way. But I love that they've never won in Toronto. They won in Canada. They played the Expos, obviously, for many, many years. And, of course, it made me think, well, wait a minute. We're talking about Aaron Judge having never hit a home run in Coors Field. That will be fun to see how many he hits during the regular season as well as in batting practice. But I said, well, wait a minute. If the Rockies have never played at the Rogers Center since 2013, has Charlie Blackmon ever homered there? Got out the old spreadsheet machine.
Of course.
Slapped it on there to figure out, he's homered in 2 Atlanta ballparks, 2 Texas ballparks, but he's never homered in Toronto. It is the only city that he's never homered in. So Minnesota, they've rarely gone there. He's homered there. Detroit, he's homered there. He's never homered in Toronto. How about that?
So he's never homered in Canada.
He's never homered in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Because the Expos were already gone by that point when he made his debut. So
Wow.
that would be a nice
Canada
rarity.
doesn't even know what Charlie Blackmon is all about.
And
They have no idea.
And his contract is up after this year. He may never get the chance.
I'm so stressed now.
He needs an extension just to be able to play in Toronto,
Please,
just to hit a home run.
Please, Colorado Rockies, extend Charlie Blackmon so he can hit a home run in Canada.
All 30 MLB cities. I wonder how many guys right now have homered in all 30 MLB cities. Charlie has to be up there on that list, right? Again, some of that is logistics. Like you go, Joey Votto, been around for a very long time. There's probably a good chance that he's done it. Miguel Cabrera, I can almost guarantee you, has hit in all 30. He did start his career out in with the Marlins. So not every stadium, because we know some ballparks are newer. But if you just said per city, Charlie's got 29 out of the he's got 28 out of the 29. Obviously, he's homered at home. So July of 2016 was the last time that the Rockies went to Baltimore. They go to Baltimore this year, August 25th through 27th.
Wow. Baltimore is lovely that time of year. Not humid at all.
Oof. Early August is worse than late August, but it's still bad.
It's so bad.
It's still bad on the East Coast. Kansas City, they haven't been there since August of 2017. They travel there at the beginning of June 2nd to 4th. 9-hour drive. So look, if you don't want to deal with flights and getting a rental car or an Uber, whatever, it's drivable. It's doable to drive 9 hours. I mean, you've done it.
9 hours is too long of a day drive.
Really?
For one person, it's too long. My absolute limit is 8.
I have driven 13 to 13 and a half hours by myself on 7 different occasions, I want to say.
But you know
How about
what?
that?
You know what? A one-off, I guess it's possible. But when you're like driving every day, long distances, you will die. You will die.
I don't think I ever mentioned this on the pod. During the pandemic, we still wanted to stay quarantined. We wanted to see my wife's parents, my parents, when they still lived in New Jersey. And I was like, well, it's impossible, right? I mean, we could go there and then quarantine for however many days in a basement or something like that. So we're still separate, or get a hotel, whatever. And I was like, that seems like a big headache. And then it just seems like a big headache. So I created a different headache. So we drove, we stayed at a campsite in like somewhere in Illinois, on the border of Illinois and Iowa or something. Drove 13 and a half hours there. I don't want to divulge too much because I've been made fun of for this. We slept in our Subaru.
Okay.
And that's that. And we stayed quarantined the entire time. And I'll leave it at that unless you ask the right questions. So the my wife was unable to drive, so I had to drive 13 hours, 13 and a half, get back in the car, drive another 13 and a half. But we left on a Monday. We arrived by Tuesday night. It was fine. It was almost easier knowing that we couldn't swap off the driving because I had no option. You just
had to get in that mindset.
Because when you're
That's
driving,
a tough mindset
when you swap
into.
off, you're like, oh man, how much longer till I take a nap, or I can fall asleep, or I get a break, and you start thinking about it and dreaming about it, and that becomes challenging. What was your longest again? And you did it by yourself?
Well, because I did the whole country. I drove the whole country by myself. So on that road trip, the longest drive I did, I think, was like 11 hours. And I just like wanted to drive my car off a cliff at that point.
11's a lot.
But
was there a
I-
lot of traffic, or was it like free drive? Because if you're just floating along, I think that's doable. If you're like sitting in traffic, that's frustrating.
You know what? I don't think I was necessarily in a ton of traffic, but at some point my GPS was like, you need to take these back roads, because I was like driving through Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it was a lot. But then I think like the longest drive I've ever done like on my own, I drove like 12 hours when I drove to the Super Bowl back in 2018. I drove a lot of that.
Eagles.
There was some swapping off, but like I did most of it.
Birds, Pats. That was the one.
Go Birds.
Finally, the second two longest droughts of the Rockies having traveled somewhere. Yankees in Tampa Bay. Colorado travels to Tampa Bay this year, August 22nd to 24th. Not a trip I'm putting on my like wish list of like, I've never seen a game in Tampa Bay. Still not going to.
I think it's the worst ballpark. It's
so
the
bad.
worst ballpark out of all of them. It's worse than the Oakland A's Coliseum.
That stadium has like history, and there's some love there. There's some care that's taken. It still, smells like a sewer, but I feel like there's love in that ballpark. And there's just nothing. There's no love in that stadium. It was built for no team. I think it was built in 1988 before there was even a team. A decade before the Rays.
It was definitely not built for baseball. It is a weird place to watch baseball.
Very weird. Rockies do take a trip to Yankee Stadium in 2024. So
I was at Yankee Stadium last time the Rockies were there.
So was I. How about that?
Really? We were at the same
2019?
game? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And it was so humid.
It was so humid. Oh my gosh.
So when I got up to like the press level, and it's open air press too. That's the thing. Like,
so you were there for work purposes?
I was there for work purposes.
Oh, okay. I was there for fun purposes because I didn't cover the Rockies at that point.
It was crazy hot. And when I had gotten into like the cafeteria area, all the windows were like sweating because it was air conditioning. And literally just like taking an elevator and walking a tenth of a mile, it wasn't walking very much. I was like, I felt like I was gonna have heat stroke. I'm like, I may have to watch this game from inside the cafeteria because it's air conditioned. Like, it was really that bad.
It was so awful. I just remember like just being absolutely drenched in humidity and sweat, and I'm like, okay, guess this is just. I'm not picking anyone up at this game. Okay,
That's
like,
that was the worst humidity ever.
I felt so gross.
Were you wearing pants?
No, I wore like spandex biker shorts. I just straight up wore workout gear.
Next time I will wear that when I'm in the press box. I will have to wear
biker shorts. That'll go over well.
Biker shorts. I think I think that would go over. That kind of attire would be welcomed here at the DNVR bar. I know that. We're very welcoming.
Yes.
And in fact, even more so to our diehards, because if you are a diehard, boom, you get 15% off your drinks, your entire tab, food, you name it. 20% off DNVRlocker.com, 20% off on all the watch parties and the party buses that we've got going on, the tailgates, things of that nature, 20% off at DNVRlocker.com. Access to the diehards only Discord, where people are sharing all kinds of AI technology where we can make all kinds of craziness. Keep your eyes out on that on social media. But Diehards is where it's at, here on the corner of Colfax and York. And look, if you get hurt, Backus and Shanker is here to help. I was so excited. I popped for a Backus and Shanker ad when I was watching YouTube. I'm like, hey, those are our guys.
They are our guys.
It was a YouTube ad. I'm like, hey, they're with us too.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty neat.
They're part of the DNVR crew.
They are, and they're part of your family because they win for Colorado families. They're free until they win money in your case. So no upfront fee to speak with them about the case. No fee while they work on your case. No fee unless they win your case and win money for you. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They're great at what they do. 30 lawyers, 100 folks on staff. Backus and Shanker helps with all kinds of injury cases that weren't your fault. Car accidents, motorcycle, ride shares, pedestrians, trucks. They can even help if you're injured at work. Call them at 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker, coloradolaw.net. That's where you got to go.
Love it.
You weren't injured in the car accident yesterday, correct?
No, I was not in the car.
Excellent.
It was just a classic hit and run.
H&R. Not good.
So rude.
I mean, you know what? Free call to Backus and Shanker. You never know, right?
My car is injured.
That's it.
Help me.
Hey, you never know. It doesn't hurt. It's a free call.
It's a free call.
It is a free call.
I'm not going to waste their time.
No.
They're busy.
Look, don't waste your time on some other betting sites because the NFL action is on DraftKings Sportsbook. We're one step closer. We're one step away from Super Bowl 57. We got to wait this entire weekend. Hank, do they still do the Pro Bowl stuff? Are they doing flag football or something like that this weekend? Pro Bowl games. Competition, flag football. That's fun.
That's
but
adorable.
No one cares. No one cares. Yeah. But they're doing it in the site of the Super Bowl, right? Not in Hawaii anymore. Vegas. Okay, right.
Oh,
So
of course it's in Vegas.
Vegas is a good. That will save on some money for that. I don't know if you could bet on that, but again, Super Bowl 57 is where you can definitely bet. DraftKings Sportsbook is official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers place a $5 bet on the Super Bowl, and if it wins, boom, $200 in free bets instantly. They also have some bigger payouts with their stepped-up same-game parlays. Link a bunch of different things that you think might happen. That's going to increase the odds, increase your payout up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR. New customers, all you got to do is bet $5 on Super Bowl 57. When that hits, you get $200 in free bets instantly. You don't have to wait. Ooh. It is instantaneous. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook and only with promo code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And it's also void in Ohio. So Cincinnati Bengals fans.
This is new information.
Sorry about that.
The void in Ohio line is new.
Yes.
What did Ohio do to lose this privilege?
Not good.
That we get here in Colorado.
It wasn't good. We'll have to talk about it off. No, I don't know what Ohio did.
What did Ohio do?
Here's a riddle. What state in the United States is round on the outside but high in the middle?
It's Ohio.
Okay. Well, I waited too close after we just said Ohio, but you got it.
I'm an Ohio enthusiast, so I know all the Ohio jokes.
Oh, that is true.
Tell me an Ohio joke I don't know. Okay, please.
That's it. Youngstown has some of the best baristas in the country. You said an Ohio joke you hadn't heard.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Why does Youngstown explain the joke to me? I don't get it.
Well, that would probably be the last place you would kind of think that baristas would be really good. No.
In Youngstown?
Yep.
Why? Do you know how many Starbucks are in Youngstown?
Do you know how many Starbucks are everywhere else? In
Like
modern
a lot.
cities. Yeah, exactly.
Youngstown has a lot of chains.
We've got a lot of, how many? You know this for sure?
I can tell you how many Olive Gardens are in Toledo, but I can't tell you how many Starbucks are in Youngstown.
It's probably a 1-to-1 ratio, I'm thinking.
There are like 3 Olive Gardens in Toledo, and I've been to one of them.
Well, you're a big supporter of the Mud Hens. We know that.
We know it.
Big Mudhead fan.
We know it.
I'm a big fan of all of the comment and love and just the Rockies community right now who are kind of gritting their teeth and bearing it as best as possible with the comments that Rockies owner Dick Monfort has made over the weekend. I figure now's probably a good time to take a look at some of the best of them that we received on Twitter. So, Tiffany, pretty much just line them up and we'll kind of comment on the comments about the comments. So, Christian Torres saying about the quote, "I think we can play 500 ball. Can't wait to hang the 500 ball banner at Coors."
This is funny. I like that.
We do hang a lot of the, wild card banners and the National League pennant, actual pennant, right? A banner for that. That's something to be proud of. But a 500 ball banner, okay.
Oh.
Robert Sanchez from
This one's rough.
yeah, from 5280 magazine, Robert Sanchez says, I think we can play 500 ball. Maybe not an exact quote in 2019, but in general. And then I think we can play 500 ball in 2020 and 2021, 2022, and now we've got it for 2023. So I think that's a good approximation of a lot of the quotes coming out from ownership that, again, if everything goes perfect, they can play 500, but that's almost a sad state of affairs if perfection
If that's the best we can do.
is 81 wins, yeah. Yep. Helton Hall of Fame, big in the Rockies community. At least Dick's expectations are gradually coming down to earth. So this is kind of a positive statement in a sense.
This isn't a negative statement.
No, it's like, actually, you know what? I'm glad that the owner isn't saying that this is a postseason contender because it's not in its current state. And the offseason, again, as Bill Schmidt said, they're probably not going to be doing more things. So this is the roster. So the fact that he's able to acknowledge that it's not a contender, even in a best case scenario, even if, hey, maybe 84 wins get you to the postseason, because there will be years in which the 6th and final postseason spot, the third wild card, will be about 84 wins. He didn't say that. So Helton Hall of Fame, fair point. Expectations are more reasonable.
Yeah, this is more reasonable.
It is.
Yeah.
Kylie McDaniel from ESPN says, maybe Greeley is a language where this makes sense. I'm sure Dick is good at something, but predicting his team's record isn't one of them. Fangraphs has them as the worst team in baseball by a good margin.
Yeah, so those have been the projections that we've seen already. Just in casually. Obviously, it's pretty early still.
Down in the A's tier.
Down in the A's tier. At least the tier isn't named after us, but that one hurt.
Yeah,
that one hurt.
And Kylie even used some sources and some good screen caps of different quotes from the past and the actual record. Actually, Nick Roque went off yesterday saying like, "Hey, let's have a little bit of fun here on Rocky's Twitter or just regular Twitter of what year was this quote from Dick Monfort?" And just kept going on the doom scrolling of quotes about how good the team was or what they're going to do and what they haven't really done. And
I didn't see that, but that would be such a fun game to play on this show. What year is this quote from?
It kept going. It was like 20 quotes. I figured he had maybe 6 to 8, maybe 10, but Nick is great at what he does, and he's a Colorado native, and so yeah, he had a lot. So
he had a lot.
That's some must read piece on Twitter. Andrew Mason says, in regards to the Broncos, about the "I think we can play 500 ball" quote from Dick Monfort. Pat Bowlen, former owner of the Denver Broncos, used to say, "I want to be number one in everything."
Very different mindsets here.
A little bit. I mean,
because I don't think we've ever heard Dick Monfort say anything like that.
Yeah. We talked about it yesterday. It comes at a cost to make certain decisions to be number one, and you have to decide, do you want to be number one at that cost? And, in my opinion, in my estimation, I don't think the Rockies do want to be number one at all costs. And that's their choice. That's their right. And maybe you can still win without doing things at all costs, right? There are teams who've, you know, I'm not gonna say they've won it the right way, but they've won it, and you go, I've got no issue with how they put this team together and how they brought this unit together and their chemistry. All those things seems fair and on the up and up. So it's not impossible to do, but the way that they've been doing it, it seems like it is impossible, actually.
It feels impossible. It feels impossible right now.
Definitely does. And
this one's
last
maybe
but
my
not
favorite
least,
one.
we got the blessing from Mr. Kyle Clark of 9 News. Again, full quote was, I think we could play 500 ball. Rockies owner Dick Monforts speaking in Greeley at the Breakfast of Champions event. Still, great event. But to which Kyle Clark couldn't help with the good wordplay. Breakfast of Mediocrity event.
Kyle Clark is so witty.
He is very witty.
He gets it.
He gets it.
He's a guy who gets it.
He does get it. Let's see if you get this trivia question out there. Maybe we have a graphic for it too. This was the trivia question that we asked at the watch party this time last week. Colorado's longest postseason drought took place between 1996 and 2006, so 11 seasons. How many players did they use? So that was the trivia question that we put out on our ballot for everyone to vote, because it had to be something, of course, that they couldn't Google. So it had to, of course, be something that was on a spreadsheet of mine. So I had to sort it all out.
Something that only Patrick knows the answer to.
I mean, I made up the question, so I was like, okay, I'll tweak it just enough. What's the estimation? We will tell you that at the end of the show, Colorado's longest postseason drought for 11 seasons. How many players did they use in 11 seasons? Obviously, Todd Helton was on all of those. That counts as one.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you want to throw in a guess?
I feel like I have to throw in a guess.
So what's your thought process? So 11 seasons.
I'm like, okay, 11 seasons
times about how many new players are on the roster?
I mean, probably more than 26 every season.
So 26 brand new players, so there's usually about, I want to say maybe 45 that are used in a season.
Yes. But like so many of them are going to carry over from year to year to year. This is like a really hard math problem.
But you got 11 times, and you would just have to pick a number.
11 times. I'm going to say they used 100 players in those 11 seasons.
So only 9 new players in each of those years.
Yes.
So they just basically kept the same exact roster for 11 years.
It's got to be wrong.
All right. Look, I didn't say that we were playing Price is Right rules, so you're still alive. I'll say that. We'll get back to that.
I didn't go over.
See, you have to remind me too at the end of the show.
Okay. Oh, right. I have to wait.
So I want to give people a chance. All right. Do you want me to just say the answer?
No. I want people to wait.
I want people to in the chats here. We got a couple guesses already. So in our Hall of Fame ballot for our watch party last week,
which was so fun, by the way,
a
week ago today, like we had such a blast.
It was great. Todd Helton did get 75%, thankfully,
of our votes. Did he get more than 75%?
Oh no, he did. What? But he was the only one.
Was he unanimous? Please tell me he was unanimous at our watch party.
No, there were a couple of folks that didn't realize you could vote for like more than one player, so they were like, oh well. You know, this guy's Scott Rowland, I think, is probably maybe a little bit better, more deserving. He'll get in. So, you know, it wasn't a perfect scientific study in that capacity.
That's funny.
Beltran and Andrew Jones were the next closest. One ballot did just have Houston Street. But I'll say this.
That's kind of hilarious.
But I'll say this. Good pick, because Houston Street did get a vote from somebody, T.R. Sullivan, who covers the Rangers. So, I mean... That was accurate. The next player to get inducted in Cooperstown, we talked about that on Tuesday's show. Got some responses from Matthew Replinger, great, Colorado baseball historian. Our fans and all those at the watch party, Story and Matt Holliday got some support, but Nolan Arenado was the overwhelming favorite,
and that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, right? Would you like to see the Rockies have their own Hall of Fame? What percentage of folks do you think said yes or no?
I hope 100% said yes. Why? They should absolutely have one.
You were about to say, why would they say no?
Why would they say no?
About a third of them said no. I was shocked.
Who would say no?
Hank is laughing over here.
Name names.
The comments was from some people were just like, they don't deserve it, or there hasn't been that many great things. But that's the thing is. Sure, you've got one MVP. You've got no Cy Young Award. You've got one Rookie of the Year. You've got 2 Managers of the Year. okay, but there's been a no-hitter. There's no award for that. You can celebrate that. Ubaldo's 2010. You could celebrate his whole season.
Yeah. Like at this point, there's 30 years of Colorado Rockies history. You have to start building the, this living, breathing, monument to all the great accomplishments that the Rockies have done.
Just celebrating the first year.
And you know what? Things that aren't going to be celebrated in other places, we should be celebrating.
Exactly.
To make people nostalgic about the Rockies that they love and the moments that they love, to maybe remind them why they became Rockies fans in the first place.
I love that. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you.
You don't even have to keep it to Rockies. You go Denver Bears, Denver Zephyrs, like acknowledging, minor league baseball here in town and just the people that in the late 1800s, early 1900s who helped establish professional baseball in Colorado. So you can do all of those things in a Rockies Hall of Fame. So I was very surprised by that. I also looked it up. There are at least 17 teams across MLB that have some kind of museum or Hall of Fame or Walk of Fame, which I think is important to acknowledge because if, again, your initial gut reaction might be like, the Rockies don't deserve a Hall of Fame. Like, they don't have enough to do it. A lot of teams have that. I mean, the Diamondbacks, I've gotten mixed reports if they still have one. They did a 20th anniversary museum in 2018. So I'd love to just have a 30th anniversary exhibit for the Rockies. And I hear that there are some conversations over there at 20th and Blake.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. But there are some conversations. First class of Hall of Famers. Typical names that you'd expect. 2 ballots had an identical list of 11 names, which were all worthy. One ballot had 38 names on it. So, and I know who you are, Kris. Shout out to Chris Cohen, one of our board members. But there was also, I think he even had, I think this was Chris's list. He had an honorable mention mini list that included Rockies announcers. Again, another great way to tie fans to the team and the history. Jack Corrigan, Drew Goodman, Drew Frazier, Wayne Hagen, Jerry Schemmel, like all of those folks. It would be great for their, to have fans have a location to go and celebrate that,
Yeah, they're the voice that brings Colorado baseball to our ears.
That's it. And Game Time Tickets is the app to bring you tickets to get to your favorite events all around.
Seamless.
That's it. You've got sporting events. You want to sit on the 50-yard line for the Super Bowl. It'll cost you something, but Game Time has got those for you. If you were talking about Broncos game, you could have come out to our tailgate, waited till about 60 minutes when prices start to go down, and boom, get up to 60% off the face value of the ticket. That's something that Game Time Tickets has that nobody else has. It's a fantastic little feature. I've used it before for shows at Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, and those are so clutch. Again, at the tailgates, I saw people doing this every single game. Like,
Bingo.
I'm going to see what kind of deal I can get.
That's fantastic.
And then they get good deals. Go into
Smart.
the game for super cheap. Had a great time at the tailgate. Our tailgates are always popping.
15 million folks have already done that. They've downloaded the Game Time app and have scored the best seats to their favorite events. Hitting a link in the description to save, of course. And our friends over at Green Mountain Dental Group, they're keeping our pearly whites, pearly white. That's what they do. They're specialists at that. They do an amazing job. When you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam with them, they're going to hook you up with a $300 discount with a full orthodontics treatments for new patients, or you can get a full set of bleach trays, a $350 value. It's something that in the past I was always afraid to use because of how sensitive it might make your teeth, but the product that Green Mountain Dental uses is not going to do that. Your teeth are not going to be sensitive from that kind of bleaching and that kind of...
And that's huge.
That's the biggest piece. That's the biggest element. You want to have healthy teeth, not just white teeth. Healthy teeth that might not necessarily even be pristine white. But if you want to go that route, you can actually have both. You can have your cake and eat it too with Green Mountain Dental Group.
Just brush after. Brush after. It's a lot of sugar.
Just located 15 minutes outside of downtown Denver. We learned last week that Connor Siebold is a Coloradan, kind of. He spent 5 or so years in Castle Rock.
Yes.
And we're still waiting to find out if Kale went to school with Connor Siebold.
I think they missed each other.
Is
that what he said to us? I think they might have.
Yeah, they might have just missed. So Kale might not be able to get those free tickets from Connor after all. That would be a bummer.
I know. It's a shame he's going to miss out on those on-field passes.
MLB.com wrote a story. I'm still shocked. Suzie, okay, here it is. Here's what it was. It was a story about all 30 teams. What was pretty much like the coolest player jersey to own right now? What's like the hipster jersey to own? And I think this time last year, there would have been a lot of answers.
Yeah.
Like you could have gone any way, at least 5 different players off the top of my head. Right now, who would you say the hippest jersey is? Or do you want to answer it and see what the worst answer was you could possibly think of that MLB.com said was the hippest?
Oh, interesting. Okay, the coolest. I feel like a Freeland jersey would be like a cool jersey,
I would
cool
agree.
Rockies jersey to have because he's a great pitcher.
Yep.
And he's a local dude. And he's
agree.
friends with celebrities.
I would agree. I'm wondering if they thought, well, that's too obvious of an answer, so it's not hipster. He's been there for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm wondering, but I would agree with you. I would want to own a number 21 or even a number 31 from his rookie year. That's like taking it to the next level.
Very niche.
That's a good hipster
Very
one.
niche stuff. What did they say?
Kris Bryant.
What?
I'm just going to let the dead air just sit there because it's worth it. Kris Bryant is the hippest Rockies jersey to own right now.
And who made this list?
Someone from MLB.com.
Huh. I'm speechless. I talk for a living and I'm speechless.
That sums up how I felt about it as well.
Nothing against Kris Bryant, of
No,
course,
of course
but
not.
he's barely been a Rocky. He did not play a lot of games.
They're paying him a lot of money. So
He's getting a lot of money. Good for him. But
So this time last year, you go, Connor Joe. Got to get a Connor Joe jersey, right?
yeah.
Boom. Sam Hilliard. Yep, I'd get one of those. Jonathan Daza. I'd get one of those last year, right? That seems very hipster. Garrett Hampson. There's a couple of those around. Very hip, right? Because it's left of center. It's not maybe an obvious choice. Jonathan Daza I would still put on that list as far as being a hipster jersey. I've never seen a Daniel Bard number 52. That's hip.
You know what would be even hipper is the duct tape 52 on the back of a blank jersey.
Ooh, I like that.
That would be a deep cut.
That's a good one.
Oh, I might make that actually.
Arts and crafts.
I
Arts
have
and crafts
some
with
duct
Suzie
tape.
Hunter.
I have duct tape. I have a blank Rockies jersey.
Justin Lawrence, number 61. Even Tovar, he's just starting out, number 17. I would say any Ezekiel Tovar jersey is hip. But you know what the hippest Ezekiel Tovar number 17 jersey is?
The black vest.
The black vest that
The
gets you a
black
free
vest.
drink from Suzie Hunter at the
Yes.
DNVR bar. So if you get one of those, if you can find one somewhere on planet
After
Earth,
you custom order it.
after you custom order it. Now, what if they have to be creative and use duct tape just like on the Daniel Bard jersey? Are you going to accept that?
No.
I'll split it with you. You know what? I'll
you
split
can't
the cost.
You can't duct tape on the black vest jersey because it's already like a black
Yeah,
jersey.
that's true.
No.
We can use the silver.
I
The
guess.
original duct tape. Could be. Hey, congratulations to Ronnie Gajonik, the first ever female coach at High A.
I love that. Very
was
excited
fantastic.
to hear that. I love that this this like sisterhood of managers in the minors is growing little by little.
She also looks like a badass. I mean, I think that helps. I mean, you always want to
Yeah.
be a badass when you're on the field.
Yeah, you can tell she's a badass in real
yeah.
life. She doesn't just look like one; she is one.
If you actually have to happen to go out to, let's say, a Spokane game in High A in the Northwest League, you're going to see Ronnie managing there or coaching there as she is a coach with the High A Hillsboro Hops, an Arizona Diamondbacks affiliate. So we've got 2 now. So that's fantastic. Still need a lot more. Still need a lot more progress. She takes over. Actually, no, she is the manager of the Hillsboro Hops. She was hired only as a video coordinator in 2021. So that goes to show you how good she is, how much expertise she has. She moved into an on-field role last year in AA at Amarillo. Have you been to that stadium yet?
I have spent a lot of time in Amarillo,
In
actually.
Hodgetown.
Hodgetown. It's a nice ballpark.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you ready? Folks, are you ready? Here we go. Suzie Hunter.
Yeah. Yes.
The AA affiliate for the Colorado Rockies is 2,000 miles away in Hartford. They've done well. They sell a lot of merchandise, but it's 2,000 miles away in Hartford. Do you think it would have been better for the Rockies to have made the swap ahead of the 2021 minor league season and had the Amarillo Sod Poodles as their AA affiliate, being much closer to both AAA Albuquerque and Coors Field? Thoughts?
You know what? Logistically, that would be great for the Rockies.
Okay.
But I don't think the Diamondbacks would give it up because Hartford is much further away than Phoenix.
But if the Rockies had a carte blanche choice, which we don't know how all that went down in 2021, where they had to do the reshuffling and 43 teams were lost. Our minor league teams were wiped away. 3 independent teams came in. If you were able to just say it, would you have pushed that button there in Dick Monfort's office to say, are you pushing the Amarillo button? Or are you pushing the Hartford button?
I don't know, because like here's the thing. Also, like so we know Albuquerque about 6.5 hours away from Denver. Amarillo also about 6.5 hours away from Denver.
Nice.
But a lot more flights between Albuquerque and Denver. There are no direct flights from Amarillo to Denver.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that would be kind of a pain.
Sure.
In terms of, getting guys, if you needed to get someone from AA up to Denver.
Yeah.
The fastest way would be to drive them.
Which Joshua Fuentes did have to deal with that when he made his debut in 2019.
And like, it's a great story, but you don't actually want that to happen ever.
One of my favorite pieces about that story, again, he got called up. There were no flights, or I think he got the notification maybe after the final flight, like it was like one first thing in the morning. So he had to drive from Albuquerque to Denver. The game was going on. He's trying to get into the players' parking lot. Like, hey, I'm on the team. And it's like, yeah, but you're clearly not, because you'd be in the stadium right now. He eventually gets in after the game starts.
Hilarious.
He pops into the dugout. One of my favorite pieces was the next day, Yency Almonte came in. He had just gotten called up, and he flew in. Like, he came in via flight. And so, of course, I had to ask Josh about it. He's like, oh, it must be nice be able to fly in there and not have to drive yourself. So
must be nice.
We had a fun laugh about that.
What a great season for call-ups that year.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, Josh is such a personality. Yency is such a personality.
Yep. Daza came up that year, too.
Love Daza.
Dom Nunez.
Also so funny. Oh, my gosh.
Sam Hilliard. It was a big one.
These are my yard goat dudes right here.
So, Tiffany, let's go ahead and see the cover of Susie's favorite baseball video game. That's MLB The Show. There has never been a better cover for MLB The Show than this.
This is such a fire cover. Sorry to talk over you. I love this. And I know a lot of the chatter on social media is like, oh, well, like, why Jazz Chisholm? Like, he's obviously, like, he's probably the coolest dude in baseball. Maybe Julio Rodriguez, though, like, also a young guy. Yeah. Would have been more, appropriate, because he had such a killer season.
I would have actually preferred that. You're right. He was an all-star.
He was an all-star.
Jazz Chisholm, hasn't gotten to that level yet. Again, some of that has to do with, having a good first half and going to the all-star game. Although I think he was pretty borderline for making the all-star team last year at the Marlins. But he's exciting. I mean, look at the pop and color.
I mean, he's got a swag to him. He's got a style. He's going to be a household name now. I think kids who play this game I think that would make them really excited for the future of baseball.
I think you're right. I think Julio Rodriguez would have been the better choice, and maybe more recognizable. But how many people are going to stop and look at a cover like that because of all the color that pops?
Exactly. I think that pops. So like, I'm good with this cover. I think it's really cool.
I am too.
I honestly, like, on a grand scheme of things, I think that cover is good for baseball.
I think so. Yeah. And it's good for moving units there for MLB The Show. Again, it's good for putting out some young players that are out there. So I think it's a win. I understand why it could be a curious choice, but I think it's a win.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I'm glad we're agreeing. What a great podcast where we just agree on things.
It is. Do you agree that the result of Super Bowl 57 will be the same as the 1980 World Series?
Ooh.
Philadelphia, Kansas City.
Yep.
It was Phillies and Royals in 1980.
And that
Phillies
was,
won in 6. Tug McGraw getting the final out there in Philadelphia.
Yes. Iconic moment. I think so. There was one of the... was I in Philly? Did I just miss a trip to Philly? I think I was in town, but we had a show at the time, so I couldn't go to the game where they were giving away 1980 replica World Series rings.
Ooh.
I think the Rockies were playing at the same time, so I couldn't go to the Phillies game.
Right. eBay.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's not the same. I love getting.
It's not the same. You're right.
I love getting it at the game.
You're right. I did once go to a game, and because I wanted the bobblehead giveaway, it was at a minor league ballpark, and I'd shown up late. I knew that, and I was like, "Hey, I'll give you $5 for it," because some guy had like 5 of them. He's like, "Sure." I might have paid 10.
Yeah.
Maybe I wanted to pay 5, but I was like, "I'll give you 10." He's like, "Yep, sure, just take it." I was like, all right, great.
Yeah.
People are very kind if you give them $10.
Yeah, there was I was at Dodger Stadium. I went with my family. This was when this must have been the last series of the season in 2022.
Sure.
But one of the giveaways, there was a guy standing there. Every single person he saw walk in, he's like, "I'll give you $5 for the giveaway. I'll give you $5 for it. I'll give you $5."
What was the giveaway?
It was commemorating their Spanish language broadcaster who was retiring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was the item? Was it a bobblehead?
It wasn't a bobblehead. It was like a coin.
Oh,
It was like a
okay.
coin or it was a pin. I don't remember. I wish I
nice.
remembered. But yeah,
$5
he
ain't
was
bad.
very aggressively scooping them up from everyone.
You just stand there with a sign like drop your coin in the bucket and take a $5 bill like a ticket when you're at the deli counter.
Yes.
Like that's a good fair exchange for sure. If you want to have some fair exchanges with us on Twitter, hit us up at DNVR_Rockies. At Patrick D. Lyons is where I'm at on Twitter. The answer.
Oh, what's the answer before
That's
I
it.
give my Twitter handle?
The answer was 296.
Oh my, I was way off.
I think my math would have. Well, you kind of touched on it. Maybe I made you go away from it, but 11 times. I probably would have had to say 25. There's probably 25 new guys that like make their debut, and so there's 15 to 20 that stick around each season, and there's 20 to 25 that pop up. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
but we gave away a free shirt too last Tuesday for the guy who was closest too. So that was fun. 296.
296.
You can win at trivia. Well, you're not gonna win at trivia night because no one's gonna ask that. But you can impress someone at the water cooler. And
The
they'll
water
go,
cooler?
The water cooler. And they're gonna go, oh my god, that was a freaking great trivia question.
Anyway, you can find me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms.
This has been something. No, it's been great.
It's been great.
It's been momentous.
I would call it momentous.
But Hank, do you know what they say about momentum? He said no. It's only as good as your next show. So we will talk to you tomorrow at 11 a.m. with special guest Kevin Henry from Fansided at 11 a.m., as I said, on the DNVR Sports Channel on YouTube.